My dog would meet every person that came in. And
If your dog didn't like someone, would you have not cast them?
it happened.
Oh yeah, it's a good test.
There was somebody pretty big star, who wanted to be Nebula, and she was like,
Oh no!
I was like,
Also, thank God.
It was Meryl Streep.
Hey, Hollywood Reporter, I'm James Gunn. I'm here with the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Woo!
And this is Hollywood Firsts. The first movie I watched that made me want to make movies, really, I think, is Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think that's when I became aware of the director as a part of the creative process. When Raiders came out, I remember Steven Spielberg being advertised. I was starting to understand what a director was.
There's like two movies that made me want to do movies. It's Kill Bill by Tarantino and Old Boy by Park Chan-wook. And they happen to be both crazy revenge movies. So I don't know what it says about me, but yes, those are two of my favorite movies.
I remember watching like a lot of American comedy TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
So like that 70s show, I remember watching and thinking, oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And also Friends. So those are maybe like those were the things that made me feel like I want to do that. But then also I saw The Exorcist, and that's when I was like, oh, I love horror films. And so I was like really drawn to that as well.
I think the first time I really thought that I was in living color, watching David Alan Grier and the Wayans brothers and early Jim Carrey, watching them do these sketch bits, was when I kind of realized I wanted to do that for a living. I wanted to make people laugh and do comedy.
Seeing plays, actually, like seeing like You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and Godspell as just a tiny little kid and being like, that's what I want to be.
My first audition was for a movie called Curse of Part 3. That was the first movie audition, and I booked the gig. It was in Hawaii. The director saying that it shoots in Los Angeles. And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, I've got like $40 to my name. I can't go to Los Angeles. And she said, sweetheart, we'll fly you there. And then I just really felt my whole life was going to change.
My first commercial audition was for tampons. I had to play a girl like in a spaceship going to space. So, you know, like in some way it was connected to Guardians of the Galaxy.
And there's no tampons available.
This is a very small demographic of people they're advertising to. Are you going to
you're
space
going
soon and you might be on your period? What's the first role that any of you took that got you recognized?
I was first recognized for Gilmore Girls.
Oh,
And it was
it.
very surprising. I was in the mall and somebody came up, like they were walking towards me and coming up, and I was very startled. I almost panicked, but it was nice.
For me, it was Doctor Who, the sci-fi show. That was crazy. It was like not to 100 in the space of just getting announced having that role in the UK. It's like an institution.
Everwood for me. Everwood. That was the first time.
CW veterans.
CW.
I
never made the CW.
It was when I knew that the Guardians movie was going to be big. And I always felt good about it for the most part while we were making it. I felt like I knew, like, I was made to make this movie.
I remember with crystal clarity, and I was finishing Jurassic World, and my dad had just died. And I went to a screening of our movie, and the minute the opening was amazing, I saw myself dancing, and I immediately got like nervous and self-conscious. And then I saw Rocket and Groot at the fountain drinking, and the voices coming together, Vin and Bradley's voices coming together, and I was like, oh my God, this movie is going to be massive. This movie's going to be, and then from that point forward, my insecurity went away. I was fully swept away in the movie.
I really remember, Chris, it was me and you and Dave in England at the Apple store, and us being backstage, and we could feel it in the air. Like we could feel there was this electricity around the project. People were starting to feel very excited about the movie. That was a special moment to me. It meant a lot to me.
My first impression of James as a director was articulate, knew exactly what he wanted, down to earth, cut to the chase, has a vision, can clearly tell you what that vision is and give you a chance to try to hit it.
You came in, and I had auditioned easily 200 people by that time. It was like I just knew instantly. Then it was really about me working with you to convince Marvel that you were the right guy. The thing people don't know about Chris Pratt is he's an extremely cerebral guy. And he pretends like he's not, but he is. And he gets in his mind and he thinks And then once he's in thinking, like, then it's like, you gotta get him out of that. And so like when he's in flow, like there's, just nothing like it. But if he gets in himself, then he's interior and you can't film him. And so we did, right?
Oh, yeah, I think that's got to be right.
So my first impression was, he's lovely, and we were laughing so much. I feel like we laughed throughout the whole meeting, and I met your
We
dog,
did,
and-
yeah. We got along really well from the
Yeah.
beginning. I remember we have very similar senses of humor. Like,
Yeah, and I was like really nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna meet like an American director of like this giant movie. Like, what the hell? And I was like, oh, this is not gonna be as scary as I thought it was gonna be. So you put me at ease, which was nice.
Yeah, my dog was there.
Yes, Wesley.
My dog would meet every person that came in. And
If your dog didn't like someone, would you have not cast them?
it happened.
Oh,
Oh yeah, it's a good test.
There was somebody pretty big star, who wanted to be Nebula, and she was like,
oh no.
I was like,
No.
Also, thank God.
It was Meryl Streep.
The first time I met you was at the second audition.
yes.
You started telling me about the character and that you wanted Mantis to be a little bit awkward and be a little bit like a bug and all these things. And I was like dreaming about it already. And you were like, oh, tell me more, tell me more. I just really wanted to get the part. But even if I was not part of the movie, I just wanted to watch the movie and I wanted to see this character brought to life.
Still probably the best screen test of all time was your screen test with Dave.
The first thing I thought when I knew that it was the end of this part of the saga was I just remembered the first table read in London and how much everybody really cared about trying to make something great, and thinking to myself, like, we gotta finish the race with that same amount of commitment and dedication and love that we had when we started.
But I remember just trying to be still and not panic and think, well, drink it up, be present. Things start and then they end. And with us, I think that we're all have gone through so much together that we'll stay together. But it's the nature of what we do. You can't change it. You can't alter that. So you really have to just be present and enjoy it and savor it. It's like a meal that soon we'll be taking our last bite.
Hey, thanks Hollywood Reporter for this opportunity. You guys have been great over the years. Thank you so much, and thank you to everybody who watched this.